I know what you're thinking. How on earth can I, hours before the game even begins, tell you the announced winner of Super Bowl 51 between the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots? How can I do this? How do I know? Well, it's because, ladies and gentlemen, I've studied the research, I've studied the documents, and I'm going to lay out to you who the real winners are. You see, they say on the back of the ticket that the whole thing is just entertainment. No, a real game gets played, real people play against each other. It's pretty rare to have, major players bought off. But we know that there is sports betting going on, obviously, and some fraud. No, the winners are the globalists that admittedly, over 100 years ago, created the modern Olympics and admitted that the plan was to get people to give up national sovereignty and political sovereignty and cultural sovereignty in exchange for sports teams. I mean, imagine the biggest constructions in our world, the biggest structures, the biggest public events that we see aren't political movements, they're not religious movements, they're not cultural movements, they're not people coming to see a rocket blast off and go to the moon. It's all just about primitive sports, which then is nothing but bread and circus. The Romans wrote books on how, as society declined, it was needed to give more and more bread and circuses, more and more horse races, more and more wrestling, more and more gladiatorial events. So this is what declining cultures do, and the social engineers have been writing books for 2,000 years about how it's used to control people. And people say, oh, you're just not manly, or you're being a party pooper. I grew up going to Dallas Cowboys games. I grew up playing football. I grew up having my heart beat fast, okay? And, watching Hail Mary passes and loving Terry Bradshaw and Roger Staubach, okay? My grandpa was great friends with Tom Landry and went to, college with him, was in the Army Air Corps with him. Don't give me the crap that I don't know that football is America's pastime. What I'm saying is, this is an example of mind control. We've sold out God, we've sold out our families, we've sold out our whole culture, and men now aren't politically involved. You're supposed to know about leaders and teams and moves and systems based on politics and culture and business. That's all real war, not simulated equations. This is a primitive form of virtual reality. So let me tell you who the real winners are. It's the globalists. Now, let's just say, as a party pooper I'll throw in, who knows, let's say it's going to be the Atlanta Falcons, okay? I'm just throwing that out there, not saying that's even the case. That's just what I'm saying. But it doesn't matter. Obsessing over whether a guy gets 5 rings or 6 rings or 7 rings, it doesn't matter to you and your family. But still, they take other extrapolations. They take fantasy football out of this fantasy that doesn't really affect the world on any meaningful basis, but at least it's in the third dimension. At least real people are playing it. So it's almost real. And they turn it into fantasy football and all these video games and grown men not communicating about how our borders are open, how world government's been announced, how the cancer rate's gone up 10,000+% in kids, 3,000% in men and women, what glyphosates are doing in the water, how they're creating human-animal chimeras all over the place, and it's not even news, how world government's coming into place, and how America and the rest of the world is starting to wake up and desperately battle it, and how presidents have always had the prerogative under congressional law to say who can and who can't come into this country. Now you've got the Democrat liberal-run Ninth Circuit out in San Francisco saying no to Trump, and the media is saying they're allowed to do that. Are they the president, or is he the president? They're calling it a power grab, that Trump's trying to do something that Obama put on the books but never actually did. And when there's more terror attacks, nobody's going to care. Because it's fun to do. It's fun to ignore. It's fun to not be involved. It's fun to just only care about sports, because the real battle's happening out there with a bunch of arrogant, roided up dumbasses on average. And then you get to the higher levels of the NFL, it's a total joke. It's a total fraud. These aren't the heroes of our world. The heroes are our military men and women. The heroes are the firefighters, the police that put their lives on the line, the single mothers that take care of their families. And then let's talk about the Super Bowl itself. Lady Gaga, with her whole history of doing horrible anti-God, anti-America, anti-family, satanic-type crap at events, and they're going to put her up here in front of our kids, giving her a chance to defile the minds of our children in a giant stunt yet again. Who knows what she'll do? I'm sure she'll pull something. But let's expand on that. Then the corrupt Pope, who the entire Catholic Church basically hates, is trying to get rid of, who hijacked it through blackmail of the last Pope via pedophilia, that's in London Guardian, is going to be having messages brainwashing. They're going to have anti-gun messages, and they're going to have anti-Trump Anheuser-Busch commercials about how the Anheuser-Busch guy came over from Germany and people were mean to him and all this chip on the shoulder crap. Globalism is mega corporations opening borders, bringing in third world populations, politicizing them, putting chips on their shoulders, and then using them as a political force to take over the culture. This is the death of America we're talking about. I'm not against these third world populations. The globalists have been exploiting them as well as us. But the point is, this whole Super Bowl event is a giant brainwashing operation where people don't have, again, their own culture. They wear little UT hats for the University of Texas. It doesn't matter if the degree is going to be worthless 9 times out of 10. It doesn't matter if they're giving you training for jobs that don't even exist in the future, and they know that on purpose because they want to make humans obsolete and only want the technocrats to be able to control society. It doesn't matter if they've written hundreds of books and white papers admitting that. The average sheep doesn't want to hear it because they're comfortable being a slave. They don't really want to be conscious. They want to follow some program that they were basically given. Oh, but it gets worse. Not just Lady Gaga, not just the dirty Pope, but ladies and gentlemen, George Herbert Walker Bush, Skull and Bones, CIA, made the deal to sell us out to China when he was ambassador to China. The architect of the Iraq War, attacking an innocent country they set up, killing millions. All of this will be out there in a frickin' wheelchair, flipping a coin to rub it in. So every skeleton, every unpopular nobody, the architect of the current world government, New World Order, end America sovereignty, get rid of our borders, globalist, the opposite of Donald Trump, will be there to flip a coin so everyone can love the old man and polish the Bush family turd that got rejected by the American people in the last election, just like the Clintons did. Here's the bottom line. There is a total war going on for the heart and soul of humanity right now. Your freedoms are being destroyed systematically, and men have their development arrested at a very, very young age. To not understand that men are supposed to be informed about politics, the environment, about farming, about helping their families, about organizing together to fight other corrupt groups. That's where all this sports wargaming stuff comes from. It's simulated war. Do you want to have sex with a real woman and have kids and a life, or do you want to have sex with a blow-up doll? This is the, not even prosthesis, because a prosthesis at least helps you. It's not a real leg, but at least it works. This is worse than a blow-up doll, because you're watching other people have sex with a blow-up doll. You're not even having sex with it when you watch this. You understand that? It's so simulated, because if you were even playing on the field, it's a simulated career, a simulated value, a way to divert you, a way to distract you. But when you're watching it, it's even worse. It's like watching someone have sex with a blow-up doll. Napoleon said 205 years ago, look it up, that it's incredible that men will throw themselves onto bayonets and run into cannon fire for little pieces of ribbon and tin, meaning medals. He was the first person to start giving medals out. Before it only went to like the noblemen as signs of rank. But people for little medals would throw themselves onto bayonets because of the supposed social status. And that's all this is like Napoleon's medals. This is a whole false paradigm so that our people go and learn that this is what matters. The big idol they all worship. You know, you laugh at pygmies, you laugh at natives and people worshiping some little deity or throwing their wives into pits or fires for the deity, and you say how stupid it is. But that's all this is. It's some stupid golden calf for a nation of slaves. So now you know the winner of the 51st dun Super Bowl. I'll be on the radio in T-minus 45 minutes. If there's not a station in your area, Infowars.com/show. This is the real fight. We're changing the world. We're taking nations back from the globalists all over the planet. Learn about the real fight. Learn about the real system. Break out of the matrix. I'm waiting for you. I'm looking for you because we need you.